All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0, presented by the official beer of the program. You know we're talking Johnny, Cuba, European roots, a Caribbean soul. Pick up a refreshing German lager in a can. You go to johnnycuba.us. You find the nearest location to you. Make sure you always drink responsibly. Don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Let's talk some NFL. Big day yesterday, trade deadline. Let's talk some NFL. Our pal is a football American. That's right. Football America, Lebitard and Friends, DraftKings, every Monday and Friday. You got the episodes that come out with our pal, Dave Dameshek. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hello, Zaz. What a pleasure to be with you once again. That trade deadline is behind us. And I feel like neither of our teams are on because everybody's doing who won and who lost the trade deadline. I think we're probably leaning to the loss side. How say you?
Okay, so first tell me, so you're a Steeler guy, all right? You're a Yinzer. For people who are seeing on the YouTube channel, yep, yeah, you got the Steeler stuff going on, all in the Football America mansion. And so I'll tell you how I feel about the Dolphins in that regard. Give me your thoughts there on the Steelers. Then you're disappointed.
Yeah, I just feel like they remain schizophrenic. And the main point, without deep diving the last 2 years of Pittsburgh Steelers football, I'll leave it at this. Long story short, this is now the second straight season that they are a pro football team in the 21st century, which AKA makes it the QB league, where offense is what matters and all of that. They haven't had a legit starter level second wide receiver for 2 seasons now. That's weird. That's a failure.
Did they have to trade George Pickens?
No, the book on Pickens is that he was a locker room problem, and it sounds pretty clear by all accounts that he was not well liked. In fact, loathed in the building, not just by the players, but by all. But of course, you know, he's not the only person who maybe has an outsized ego and some behavioral issues in pro football. And, you know, the bet that I would have made were I the Steelers, if you're going to go to the trouble of signing a 41-year-old quarterback and Darius Slay and bringing in these long-toothed vets, then it would appear that you're making your best effort for January of 2026. I think you take the bet that George Pickens, even with his emotional issues over the course of his brief career so far, the bet is he understands, his agents and otherwise understand, that one good season of performance on the field and good behavior off of it equals 100 years worth of generational wealth. Set your family up. George Pickens so far is among, statistically or otherwise, the league leaders at pass catcher, and has been a great compliment to the Cowboys. So, you know, to this point at least, yeah, it seems obvious to me that they should have held on to him, because DK Metcalf and George Pickens, now you're cooking with gas. How are you going to cover that up?
Have you been happy with Rodgers?
Yeah, pleasantly so. I thought that he would be greatly diminished. I didn't think the thing that he's done so much in his career is that gentle boot action when he can move just slightly out of the pocket there and throw those lasers. I thought that, you know, the rhetoric goes like, does he still have the arm? Rodgers, a couple weeks ago in Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football, threw a 70-yard ball, Hail Mary, and people swooned. Like, who knew he still had that arm strength? It's not the arm strength properly that goes on the old guys. It's the legs that go. And I thought that was going to be the issue, and not just because of the Achilles. It's the age. So he's looked good. The offense has been better than expected. The inexplicable thing is all those high-end pieces and the defense doing what it's been doing at least up until the Colts game last Sunday.
Okay, so this is a two-part question. Just give me the number answer to this first part here, and then I'll ask the second part. Speaking of the Steelers, how many wins is it going to take to win the AFC North?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I was just looking at it.
Just give me the number here.
Okay, all right, yeah. The Ravens are at 3 right now, so I'm going to go with 10.
Okay, so that's interesting, right? Because going into last week's game with Baltimore at Miami, and the Ravens were 2-5, they were the odds-on favorite to win the AFC North. So if you believe that it's going to take 10 wins, then, Vegas believes the Ravens are going to win 8 of their final 9 games. That's crazy.
Yeah, I to me, the one I circled a couple of weeks ago, somebody who's looking at the AFC North and seeing what lays ahead for all these teams, it seemed to me that Thursday night game in Cincinnati against the decrepit Joe Flacco and company would have really put enough distance that it would have been hard to blow if you're Pittsburgh, if you assume that they split with the Ravens down the stretch. It would have been hard to overcome no matter what the Ravens do the rest of the way for the Steelers to blow the vast lead that they would have had. That loss puts them into a different spot now. If you look at what the Ravens have left, yeah, I'm kind of with Vegas. They should go on a mighty run here. The toughest game upcoming for them out of them all outside of the first of their 2 games against Pittsburgh is Minnesota this weekend. And it's weird. They're catching points up in Minnesota. I'm kind of surprised by that. I guess surprised-ish, but either way, how say you? I'm curious where you come down on what that win total would be to win the North.
No, I think 10 is probably the right number, but I also don't think Baltimore is going to go 8-1 to finish the season, not with that defense. Like, I understand Lamar Jackson's back. Okay, he's great, but that defense is only going to allow 1 more loss the rest of the year. That seems crazy to me.
Zaz, I have the long-standing Jenga theory, which is that if you remove the wrong piece, the whole thing will implode. Beginner's level version of this is evaluating teams who lose their quarterback. Joe Burrow got hurt. The Bengals are cooked. That's too easy for you and me. But I do think that there are players out there. Obviously injuries are going to happen in pro football, but the trick is to avoid losing that one guy. I really do think, well before even Fred Warner got hurt in San Francisco, I think the ceiling lowered on the Niners when Nick Bosa went out. I just don't think that they can overcome that. I don't think they can win 3 games in the NFC to get to a Super Bowl. And I think maybe anonymous to a lot of people, but Nnamdi Madubuike for the Ravens really diminishes that defense. I mean, he is sort of in a way, I mean, he's a pass rusher, interior pressure and all that. Everybody loves that these days. But he also was foundational in the run game. He was just, he's one of those 400-pound, half moose, half men kind of guys who just made running nearly impossible against the Ravens. Once you plucked him out of that, all bets are kind of off. The secondary ain't great. It's better when they use Kyle Hamilton is a spectacular individual, and he kind of offsets the limitations of the defense. But Roquan's back and all of that. I think they are. 8-1 is a tall order for any team. Doesn't matter if it's the Chiefs or the Bills or anyone else in this NFL. We see week to week, you see these bizarro results. Reminder, if you doubt that the Ravens might stumble along the way, I point you to what happened in Lambeau. The Carolina Panthers just went in there and knocked them off. So, I'm with you.
So the part with the Dolphins that frustrates me about the trade deadline, it's 2-pronged. It's they were only able to get something for Jalen Phillips. Like, there was no one out. Bradley Chubb, Minkah Fitzpatrick. There was no one out there that wanted these guys who you definitely are either not going to keep in Minkah's case or shouldn't keep in Bradley Chubb's case. But then the other side of it is, okay, so the Dolphins are clearly rebuilding. We get that. It's going to be a long road. But Buffalo is going to be great for a long time, it looks like. New England looks like they're very much on the rise. And what
a bummer. I feel, I got to say, because I'm one of society's great empaths, as I think you've picked up from our brief exchanges over the last couple of months here, I sincerely feel bad for Dolphins fans. The Jets are a mess. They deserve what they get so long as Woody Johnson is running that team. But that you had what you thought in the interim from Brady leaving Foxborough in the division. Then you think McDaniel. Ooh, he's interesting. He's idiosyncratic, but it's okay. So fine. He's not a Bill Belichick type. He's not Bill Parcells. He's his own cat. And then he brings in Tua. And wait a minute, they're setting the NFL on its ear. They're putting up 60 points a game and so on. And as you and I have gone back and forth on, it's crazy that was just 2 years ago, and they are one of the saddest franchises. And in the meantime, like you say, the Patriots solved the only thing that matters, which is who's your quarterback for the long term. So my heart goes out to Dolphins fans. Yeah, they needed to get rid of, but then again, that sort of, I'm curious where you come down as an AFC East guy who has a rooting interest in it. Would you rather be the Jets right now? The idea that you just purged all your real high-end talent. You really gave away just about all of it. Or, okay, maybe that's an overstatement, but at least your two great young defensive pieces, you traded them away. Would you rather be in that boat where it's just like, yeah, we just gave away. I mean, like Jalen Waddle is a legit piece, so whoever takes over next year, that's going to be an asset, and it'll be nice in 2026 to know that number 17 is still out there for your guys. The Jets are just kind of lost at sea. How say you?
It's a good question, and unless I were to think about it further and change my mind, I'd rather be the team. Now, for me, neither team has a quarterback, all right? And both teams are bad. So I'd rather, for me, be the team that has 5 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons. And that's the New York Jets now, after they made those trades yesterday. 5 first-round picks. And look, you could do the tired trope of, oh, but who, just because you have the picks doesn't mean they're going to be good players. Okay, thank you. I understand how sports work. But you have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Pretty good foundation to try and rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's a weird thing that we do, which is like, well, we've run the course in this little mini era, so we may as well give away Sauce Gardner, who, I know he hasn't had a pick in a couple of years, but he is one of the 3 or 5 best cover corners in the league, and Quinnen Williams has been dominant in stretches during his career. So when you give those guys away, that just hits me weird. It's like, okay, so we're gonna go back into the marketplace to try and replace what we already had. And really what it comes down to is that we'll have to try to get them a little bit cheaper or earlier in their career so they don't cost as much.
It's all about setting back the dollars, right? That's what it is.
Right. But it's unsatisfying from the fans' point of view to look at it and say, what are we going to do? Those are 2 things we absolutely, positively, definitely need to win in the NFL, which is, we need pass rush, ideally interior pass rush, and we need a cover corner who can take away half the side of the field if we can get it. And they just gave that away. And so it's a weird position if you're a Jet. They're like, great, I guess I can be optimistic. I can return to my posture of pie-eyed optimist because the reality of right now is so grim. I guess that's all I have. So I'll take that. I don't know. But I also agree you guys are in this unsatisfying sort of purgatory as well, although you're creeping up closer to just downright sad, and you're going to have a shot to draft a quarterback next spring.
Any chance the Chiefs miss the playoffs?
No. Although I was legit kind of surprised that the Bills had their way with them.
They always lose the Bills in the regular season. Always. It
always goes that way. When 2 teams are relatively close in terms of talent and otherwise, it is funny that the team that kind of wants it or needs it in the regular season tends to get it, and that's what happened with the Bills. They make it every year. They build it up. It feels clear that they, in their locker room and Buffalo, the city and everything, they build it up as some signature event. Like, we need this to prove it to ourselves that we can do it. And Mahomes is kind of Don Draper in the elevator looking at the junior copywriter like, we don't really think much about you at all. I mean, we're the Chiefs. We're just building towards the best version of ourselves, where the Bills understandably are obsessed by Mahomes, the Thanos who they cannot work themselves around.
All right, so let me ask you something here since you brought up Mad Men. And for people who don't know, you had John Hamm on a recent episode of Football America, correct? I think it was last week. And
yeah, a lot of Blues talk, a lot of Penguins and Blues talk, more than St. Louis Cardinals and Steelers talk. But yes.
Yeah, he's a big Blues fan, big hockey fan. So you're friendly. Are you friendly or are you friends with John Hamm?
That's a tough question. I'm gonna go friends here. I'm gonna go friends.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay, great. So that leads me to what I wanted to talk about. So, all right, John Hamm is your friend. You became friends with him because you guys were in a fantasy league together with a bunch of Hollywood types. And was this fantasy league going on while Mad Men was still airing?
He was not, if I remember. Oh, you know what? He was doing Mad Men. I can't believe I forgot this. This is one of the funny chapters, and he told it to his fancy pants friends, Peyton and Eli, on their show that they do when there's a football game going on. He was not in the league when I met him. I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was or anything. He was just hanging out, a name drop. What we would always would watch for 10, 15 years. We watched football on Sundays at Jimmy Kimmel's house. All the writers and weirdo, surreal stuff happened, like Tom Cruise showing up once and all that. And famous chefs would make feasts over the course of the football Sunday for us to eat. It was really wild stuff. But we have a terrible rule, in my opinion, in this fantasy league. Cousin Sal, Jimmy Kimmel's cousin, came up with about 15 years ago, which is that the champion of the league gets to, at the draft, which is conducted on the eve of kickoff of the next season, so that there's no room left to find another fantasy league. The champ gets to kick somebody out. Has to kick somebody out, whether they want to or not. You have to Survivor style.
It has to do it to their face.
Right. That's exactly right. You have to do it around everybody. You can't 2 weeks ahead, I'm kicking this guy out, and so he can go and get into another fantasy league. You're jammed at that point. It's but the season starts tomorrow, and now I'm out of the league. And so and you think boy, that's a fun rule. When you get kicked out, it is so humiliating, Zaz. It's horrifying to have to pick your stuff up because you have your laptop there and you're sitting around the table. And when your name gets called and you have to tuck tail and walk out, it's grim. You're like Vlad Guerrero walking through the dugout in extra innings once the game wrapped up the other night. Ham once, we have a guy, Blutt, in the league. He's this lawyerly type, bald headed and all that. Not a slight. I don't know why I even mentioned that. I feel I take it back. Let's erase the last 5 seconds. I didn't mention the state of his hair or lack thereof. But anyway, he shows up and he won the league. And we have to wait because John Hamm's not there. Why? Because John Hamm is directing an episode of Mad Men. Not just starring in it this week, but he's directing it. So we're waiting on him. Where's Hamm already? We got to start this draft. Finally, he shows up, orders himself a beer. And now that everybody has gathered together, our guy Blutt announces, Hamm, you're out. He kicks out the most desired man on the planet Earth at the time, kicks him out. Hamm drinks his beer in one gulp, slams it down, and walks out of the room without a word. Oh, that was putting him in his place. That one I like. I liked it a lot better than when John Hamm kicked me out of the league a couple of years ago because I lost the trophy. Who gives a crap about a trophy? But
does the person who gets kicked out ever get mad at the guy?
We had a guy once. One guy, Randy, is volatile. He just got kicked out again this year. But he was so upset at getting kicked out. We were on a second floor in a bar in this room to ourselves. And he was so upset. He tried to do, it was like something in a movie, when they walk, when they like, I'm leaving, and they walk into a closet and then they have to, open the door sheepishly and then find the real door and then walk out of that one. It was that. This guy, he was so upset. He gathered his stuff, and he stormed out of the room, except that he didn't go to the staircase going down. He walked out onto the fire escape, and he was too humiliated to come back in, so he jumped off the fire escape.
That's the move. You can't go back out. You got to keep going. That's
the dignified thing to do. Yeah.
Matt, where does Mad Men rank as far as all-time great shows for you?
Well, just this millennium, let's keep it to that because then I'll get all over the place. I mean, Sopranos. I think Breaking Bad is still my number one.
I have recently began binging Sopranos again. I'm like late in season 2 right now.
Ooh, I'm jealous of you. I might have to do that. Richie Aprile is the best. They
just killed Richie the last episode. Yeah. Oh, Janice, she loved him so much.
Best episode. Yeah, to me, that is the best episode. That one when she shoots Richie Aprile, and just before that, like he could. Uncle Jew tells what's his name. He's like because he knows Richie Aprile wants the sign off to kill Tony Soprano, and he leaves. And Uncle Jew tells his guy who's always there, his house guy, Bobby. He says he just couldn't sell it. He couldn't sell it. It's the best. I love that one.
And Bobby's like, I'm in awe of you.
I might have to go back and watch that. I think Breaking Bad, though, is probably my number one. Then Mad Men. I thought, I love Sopranos, but it got a little lost at sea for almost a full season there. I liked the ending more than I think most people did, because I assumed that what David Chase ultimately ended up saying is what I thought had happened, which is that he got killed. That's why the music shut off the way it. I mean, that's why it went black like that.
David Chase has said that's his interpretation.
I think he's insinuated it at least. I'm almost positive. Maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's settled hash. That we are to take Tony Soprano. That the lights going out like that means that Tony Soprano. That the guy came out of the bathroom that he looked at as he went by when they're sitting in the booth. That guy walks into the bathroom and comes back out 90 seconds later and puts one in the back of his head.
I was one of the dopes who yelled at the TV, what happened to the cable? I did that.
I was once watching a playoff game, like something in a movie. I watching a friend at a family friends. Both families got together. That's how that's the meaning of football in some regions of football America. Entire families get together to watch playoff games. It's like a holiday. And so in Pittsburgh, we're watching the Steelers at Denver, pulling off an improbable upset of Elway's Bronx. And in the waning moments, Eric Williams, I remember, number 21 of the Steelers, intercepted Elway and ran it down inside the 5. But we didn't see it because as soon as the ball hit Eric Williams' chest, the whole room erupted. And my friend David Gefsky stepped on the remote and the TV went out. Oh. Everybody was like, what the hell? Oh. There was a panic in the room. But yeah, that was. But and then I go, by the way, Andor. Got to give a shout out to Andor among.
I love all the shows. Star Wars, but I have not seen Andor. I know I would like it. I will get to it. I will get to it one day. Yeah.
Did you like Rogue One?
I love Rogue One.
Rogue One is the third best movie, right? It goes Empire Strikes Back, right. The OG, Star Wars, and Rogue One. Those are your top three. Some people consider that a hot take. I do not.
Rogue One's really great, man. Do you like Solo at all?
I like Solo. I don't know why it was so poorly reviewed. I thought it was great.
It's a good heist movie. I like Solo. Rogue One's an excellent movie. Dave, what do you got coming up on Football America this week's episode coming up on Friday?
Football America, we're kind of sort of with 17 games. You can't really find the exact middle of the regular season, but close enough. We're going to do some mid-season awards. We have Mike Ryan, we have 10-Day Tony and the usual gang, Mike and Gino Fuentes joining, and we'll get you right for the upcoming weekend of football. Weird games. We are loaded up with some juicy games, and some of the numbers out there that the books are putting out are surprising to me. So we'll do all of that. But Zaz, I feel sad. I know you're busy. You're out and about, and at some point we got to figure out what's going to go on in this ACC here with college football and how which teams are going to get in from that weird conference this year. But in the meantime. Do me a favor, because you're one of the real funny guys and insightful guys out there. Can you help us out a little bit? Mid-season awards. I don't want to do like MVP. I don't want to do everybody else is doing that already. I want to do ones like guy who keeps getting mentioned in the MVP conversation, who has zero chance and never had a chance from day one because of the position he plays, or something like that.
Okay, you know what? I have an award that we can give out on Friday. Because we're like right smack in the middle of the season, all right? We're going into week 9.
Right.
Who's the mid-season champion?
Okay, I'll do that one. Do you want to volunteer your answer? You know about that? Do you know about that, Zaz?
You know what? I know about that mid-season champion. Okay,
tell me who it is then.
The mid-season champion of this NFL season. The Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, that makes me feel good as a Steelers fan since we just whipped them. Now, whether or not Does that make me a pessimist that I don't think that that winning a game via a half dozen turnovers is not transferable to next week or for the rest of the season?
There is no carryover. Nope. And especially, how many of those were fumbles?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm all about the plus, about the turnover differential. Obviously, it's a key detail, but and some teams have a knack for it, peanut punch and all of that. But 6 turnovers versus 0 against the Colts is not something that you're going to replicate, and you can't depend upon it. They won the game by a touchdown, by the way. It's not like they ended up, you know who agrees with me? Big Ben Roethlisberger. He said, wait, if you told me nothing else but the turnover differential from that Colts game, the Steelers should have won 35-7. I don't know about that, but they certainly shouldn't have won by a mere touchdown.
Yeah. I like, let's use that, okay?
Okay, done.
Mid-season championship, and I'm awarding the mid-season championship, the Indianapolis Colts.
Is there a trophy of some sort?
There's a banner. They put a banner up at Lucas Oil. It's going to be up there.
Banner.
Didn't
Okay,
the Colts
great.
do that one year, by the way? Didn't they do AFC runner-up one year?
They have something like that up there. Yeah, they're the team. Yeah, they're the embarrassment.
I think so. Dave, tell everyone again here how they can hear Football America twice every week.
Well, YouTube and wherever you find your podcasts, Monday and Friday, Football America. We're cooking with gas these days. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to Zaz right now, but he has been a great presence on the show in his few appearances. I'd like to do that sooner rather than later, but I know you're busy and out and about, and so I don't want to ask too much of your time. But the show is always better with Zaz, and we get characters like him to come around and jazz things up for us. So appreciate you, and thank you for having me, and thank you for checking out the show, everyone.
This was great, Dave. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, Zaz, and I hope we can kibitz, like I say, maybe even as soon as next week. Who knows?